All right, it says we're live. All right, I want to talk about Game 7 of Rangers and Astros, which starts just under an hour. First thing that stood out to me was the pitchers. So Max Scherzer has a 7-8 playoff record in his career. If we go to Max Scherzer, born on July 27th. See that there? July 27th. So from July 27th until today is 88 days later. 7-8 playoff record, 88 days after his birthday. Next up, Christian Javier, 6-1 in the playoffs in his career. Right now, let me just scroll up here for a second. Right now, it's the Astros' 62nd season. If they lose, it'll be obviously their final game of their 62nd season. And Christian Javier this year. So in the regular season he was 10-5. He's won both of his playoff games, or yeah, both of his playoff games. So he's 12-5 this year, and oh, sorry, you didn't know that. Actually, that's not the stat that I wanted to pull up. Sorry about that. Was it Christian Javier record versus Rangers? Okay, so he's 5-1 against the Rangers in his career, and it's the Rangers' 52nd season in Arlington. So the 62-52, if Javier were to lose, that would go against him. Let's talk about George H.W. Bush. So his funeral was December 3rd through 5th. Well, I shouldn't say that was his funeral didn't last 2 days, but that's like when kind of his celebration of life lasted. It was December 3rd through 5th of 2018, after he died at the age of 94. Just to show you here. Dead at age 94. From the anniversary of his funeral until today is 322 days later. Obviously, well, it's not going to show up there, but Skull and Bones 322 right there. And obviously, he was president number 41. If you go from today until the anniversary of death, or the start of, oops, that's not the right. From today until the beginning of the anniversary of his celebration of life, it's 41 days. Also 5 weeks and 6 days. Like Society of Jesus, like Skull and Crossbones 263, the 56th prime. And also, where was I? From his birthday, so his birthday was June 12th. From his birthday, if he was still alive until today, is exactly 19 weeks. And as I said, George H.W. Bush would be 99 years old if he was still alive. What's the best way to pull this up here? We just do Texas Rangers baseball reference. Go to this season. So the Texas Rangers, 90 wins in the regular season, 92, 95, 98. If the Rangers win tonight, they'll get their 99th win of the season when George H.W. Bush would be 99 years old if he was still alive. And as I said, 19 weeks after his birthday. And the Houston Astros are 23-18 in the ALCS all time. Are they going to get number 19? Exactly 19 weeks after the anniversary or after George H.W. Bush's birthday. We'll have to find out. Obviously the Houston Astros used to be in the National League, and they are, if you include the NLCS, they're 34-31 in the NLCS. Houston equals 31 and 32, so that could play either way tonight. Also, something that's interesting about, so I was just talking about 41 with the first George Bush, with Max Scherzer. So let's go back to I have too many tabs open. Let's go back to the 2019 World Series. Obviously, this is the 4-year anniversary of Game 2 of that World Series, in which the Nationals beat the Astros. The anniversary of Game 1 was last night. And Houston lost both those games. Max Scherzer pitched Game 1 of that series. So Max Scherzer pitched 4 years ago yesterday. That means he pitched in Houston exactly 4 years and 1 day ago. And we're talking about George H.W. Bush, number 41. And also what's interesting about that is, from the day, let me see if I can remember the days correctly here. Okay, so from the end of the celebration of life of George H.W. Bush, again, it ended on December 5th. So from the end of that until Game 1 of the 2019 World Series between the Nationals, who were in the nation's capital, and Houston, where he died. Just look at this. If we go look at the death and state funeral of George H.W. Bush, started in Houston, went to D.C., and then ended in Houston. And how did the 2019 World Series go? Started in Houston, went to D.C., and then ended in Houston. And of course, George H.W. Bush grew up in Houston. His son, George W. Bush, he also grew up well, actually, I don't know if George H.W. Bush grew up in Houston, but I think he lived in Houston for most of his life. George W. Bush, meanwhile, he became the Rangers owner, and I think now he resides closer to Dallas than Houston. So that 2019 World Series was a huge Skull and Bones ritual. There was uh, before the right before the playoffs started, you had the thing with Dave Martinez, the Nationals manager, staying on 149 losses. He stayed on 149 losses in his 322nd career game against the Indians when Geronimo's skull was allegedly stolen by Prescott Bush, who is George H.W. Bush's father and George W. Bush's grandfather. And of course, they were all part of Skull and Bones. And also, I was just reading about this. It says Bush was the longest lived U.S. president in history at the time of his death, a record which was surpassed by Jimmy Carter on, what do you know, 322. How about that? I don't know if that's something Zach covered. But that's very interesting. And considering the fact that Jimmy Carter is from Georgia and the Georgia Guidestones were erected on 3/22 and then taken down on George W. Bush's 76th birthday on 7/6. And did I mention I talked about the Rangers possibly getting their 99th win of the season tonight when George H.W. Bush would be 99 years old if he was still alive. The one thing that, or I shouldn't say the one thing, but a couple things that could go against the Rangers tonight. They do have 75 losses on the season. 72 plus 3 is 75. If they do lose, they'll get their 76th loss of the season, just like Skull and Bones. So that could happen. Also, I was talking about last night with Adolis Garcia. So today is 131 days before his birthday. 131 is the 32nd prime. And remember, he's 3/2. That's Texas Independence Day. That's also 32 sun rays on the Jesuit logo. That's Sam Houston's birthday. As I said, Texas Independence Day. Houston equals 32. And Houston Astros could get their 32nd LCS loss tonight. So is Adolis Garcia going to be... Is he going to hit another home run tonight? We'll see. The thing is, Marcus, I would think that the Rangers got it tonight, but also yesterday the Astros had a lot of good riddles to close it. The Astros had a lot of riddles to close it out yesterday, and that didn't happen. So the answer, well, I'd say I'm leaning at Rangers for tonight, but like yesterday, the Astros had more riddles to win, and they didn't win. So it's not that clear right now. Oh, one more thing that I forgot to talk about. I have to find the... Is it here? Give me a second. Rangers, Astros. How do I get to just this season? Oh, here it is. It just loaded. Here we go. 2023. The Rangers are 6-3 at Minute Maid Park this season. If they win tonight, they'll be 7-3. 73 has been a huge theme with what's going on right now. We got Theodore Herzl, who's the founder of Zion, the alleged, I guess they called the founder of Zionism. Is that the right term? Yeah, father of Zionism. Oh, interesting. Okay, he was born. I didn't know that. So his name equals 73. He died on 7/3. He was born on 5/2. And so let me just... Rangers is... No, it's not... No, sorry. The Rangers doesn't equal 37, but it is the Texas Rangers' 52nd season. Okay, Theodore Herzl, born on 5/2. But... And he died at 44 years old. Okay, well, Rangers equals 44. Anyways, Theodore Herzl, 73. Gaza, what they're fighting over, allegedly, 73. And there's one more 73 that I can't think of right now, but it has to do with the... has to do with what's going on. I know I talked about it yesterday. Oh, that's right. The first Prime Minister of Israel, David Ben-Gurion, also 73. Not sure if there really is any more to talk about today. I guess the one thing is with the, let me look up, show you Houston for a second. So Houston, 90 and 72 in the regular season. So 93 and 73, 96 and 76. Either they're going to enter the World Series with 76 losses, like Skull and Bones, or let me or they're going to end the season with 77 losses. And George W. Bush is 77 years old right now. And as I said earlier, remember this ALCS started on the day leaving 77 days left in the year. And just to show you here, the World Series, when it starts on the 27th, this year, is a span of 3 months and 22 days after George W. Bush's birthday. Clearly synced with him. And again, he was a co-owner of the Rangers at one point. So it's fitting that this goes to a 7th game. 43rd president. And his dad was the 43rd vice president. We'll see what happens. As I just said earlier, yesterday the Astros had a lot of riddles to win, and they didn't come through. Tonight the Rangers have a lot of riddles to win, but are they going to come through? That's the question. I don't know if I think I may have briefly mentioned it, but from today until Adolis Garcia's birthday, 131 days, 32nd prime. Houston 32. Remember yesterday, yesterday was 33 weeks and 3 days after his birthday, and he hit a grand slam to make the score 9-2. And to tie the series at 3, make the score 9-2. Come on. We'll see what happens. I don't know when I'll do another stream. Depends on what kind of time I have, but this is kind of intriguing, and I must say, even though it is scripted with all these George Bush HW and W references and 322 and all that it is interesting to analyze. Talk to you later.